Man, look at you. You and I talked about Adam
Yeah.
Borics before the Pico fight, and both of us, we said, look at. I honestly think Adam Borics is going to win this fight, and there was reasons why. And you can take a look at Borch's MMA career. He was now 13-0 as an MMA pro.
Mm-hmm.
He was, I believe, I want to say 6-0 as an amateur. He's 10-0 as a kickboxer. He's never lost in combat sports.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a reason why, and I've seen him where he's been in fights where he's just dominated someone, and I've seen him in fights where he's had problems that he's had to get himself through. And he does that, and he does it in a very cool and calculated manner. He's very mature for his age as far as his fight IQ. He understands how to adjust himself during the fight. You take a look at what was happening in that Pico fight. Look at, he was getting taken down at will at times, and it was okay. You watch, he stayed cool, he stayed collected, he just waited for that moment. And when he saw the moment, he took advantage of it, landed a beautiful knee, and ended that fight. And that's the fight IQ that I'm talking about. He knew what he needed to do. He just needed that moment to occur, and then he needed to capitalize on it, and he did. And look at, he's the future. He is that guy you're looking at. Man, there's a couple of guys you can say, that guy is special. And I think Adam Borics is special. I think he's got speed, he's got strength, he's got length. Everything you're looking at for an MMA fighter in that weight class, he has it. And up here, he has it too. So that's going to be an incredible matchup because Pat Curran is a guy I loved as a fighter. I think I used to take and put his fights on and tell people, this is defense. Look at his chin. Mm-hmm. Look at his hands. Look at his movement. Pat Curran has done it all in MMA. And, he could walk away with a win, giving Adam Borics his first loss easily in this fight, moving on in the tournament because he has that skill level still in him, no doubt. He is a guy that you have to contend with from the beginning of that round to the end of that fight. He's going to be there.
I was never really, I was impressed with his fight IQ, Curran, and I was impressed with the way he fought against a lot of the top guys from back in the day. But the time that he had off, I didn't expect him to do so well against AJ McKee. And when he came out and had he had a great performance, even though he came up short, he had a great performance. And when he had a great performance, you know what went through my mind? What went through my mind was that he's in a way better place. After talking with him, he was in a way better place mentally throughout his whole time. No injuries. Things are good at home. His life was back on track. Everything about him was better. And it showed in that fight. He seemed like there was nothing that AJ McKee that did to him that surprised him. He fought a smart fight. He didn't get the win, but I think he showed against a top guy, against AJ McKee, jumping right back in after such a long layoff, that he's right back in that title talk contention. And if I'm going to give another dark horse, the guy that can win this thing would be him. And even maybe he's not considered a dark horse, but to me he is, because all that time off, and we haven't talked about him in a long time until just recently with the AJ McKee fight. But I think even now, people are going to overlook him into this tournament. And with the amount of experience he has of fighting top-level guys and being one of the best always in Bellator, I think he is that guy that could potentially upset the next guy, a Sanchez or a Juan Archuleta or Patricio. He could be that guy who ends up giving Borics his first loss and then moving on to the next round. And I think with the new way of K1, the whole K1 setup for this final Grand Prix, if he picks his cards right and he ends up in the right spots, he could end up getting right. Not an easy pass. Obviously, there's no easy passes. But it could be it could be a softer and easier walk there instead of going through every single hard, tough guy.
Well, you got to take a look at Pat Curran is a two-time champion. Mm-hmm. He has beaten. If you're going to take a look at, okay, who's the top 5? If you're going to rate them in this tournament, well, you got to say the champion is there with Pitbull. Pat Curran has beaten Pitbull. Mm-hmm. All right, you got to say, well, Archuleta's getting that shot. He's only got one loss in his career. Okay, Archuleta. That's a guy he hasn't faced off against. AJ McKee, there's another one. Now, he fought AJ, lost to him in his last fight, but you know what? Like you said, and I believe it, I thought AJ would do better against Pat Curran in that fight. I thought he would be doing a lot more things because Pat was coming off of a long layoff, and I thought it was going to be a really hard fight for Pat, and I was very impressed with the way Pat went through that fight. Now, he did lose it, no doubt about it, but we're talking about he lost rounds. And we're talking some of them were this close.
Yeah.
So it was just little things that he had to do different that could switch that round upside down. And then he's the guy coming out on top in that fight. So you look at the guys that are there, Emmanuel Sanchez, he might be one of those guys in the top 5, like I said before. And Pat Curran has a win against Emmanuel Sanchez. Look, he has all the skill there. And like you're saying, I think 2 years ago, Pat Curran was done. I think mentally he was done with the sport of MMA. I think he was tired. I think it just, there was no excitement there. It was an effort to get up, to go to the gym. And now he's excited about it again. And he's excited about this tournament. He talked about it saying, you know what? I am going to win that tournament. That $1 million is mine. That's going to set my family up. That's what I'm going to aim for. I have my wife behind me. I have my kid now. I am a new fighter. I'm a new man. And I think he has a lot to prove, and this could be the start of something special for Pat Curran.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think he's the dark horse for me out of everyone, based on the fact that his long layoff, and now after talking with him before the AJ McKee fight, his mentality, his mental look into what his future holds for fighting is a lot brighter right now. Go ahead.
Sometimes being able to be the guy that that's going in. Now, he went against AJ McKee, who was undefeated, and he's going again against Adam Borics, who's undefeated. Sometimes that gives you that little extra incentive to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna put a dent on the end of that record for you. I'm gonna put a little mark.
The difference is though, Adam Borics will be in front of him. Adam Borics will be in front of him. AJ McKee was never standing directly in front of him. His punch, kick, get out of the way, the speed, the length, the range was a problem for him to deal with. Adam Borics will be in front of him, and I think that may potentially work against Adam Borics against Curran.
It could. It absolutely could. I do believe in that fight that Borics has the length, the speed advantage in this fight. Now, the length, not so much. It's probably a little bit 2 inches in the reach.
Yeah.
But the speed is the difference, and Pat's got to use his feet to control that difference in the speed. If he uses his footwork, he can absolutely nullify it. If he doesn't, he's going to get picked apart.